Welcome to a brand new episode of Pixel Peek. Thanks for joining us.
Halloween has come and gone, and as usual, everyone is already thinking about the holiday season, including the games industry.
Even our crew is looking ahead to an extent. We may have something special planned for you as the school year wraps up.
For now, though, we have our Nintendo analyst Owen Carter stopping in to fill us in on what Nintendo has been up to. We haven't heard much on them outside of a couple of news stories and our last Nintendo analysis in episode 1.
Wow, time flies. But the news keeps going. And this week was a big week for gaming, for better or for worse.
No kidding. I feel like the stories on Fallout 76 will never end. This week, Bethesda's latest cash grab is pushing the envelope on return policies across the globe, and that's a bad thing.
On the bright side, Toby Fox, creator of Undertale, is confirmed to be a part of Pokemon Sword and Shield. We love some indie developer representation in mainstream media, and we'll go in depth on his involvement with Game Freak in both the news and this week's analysis.
And of course, we have to cover all of the announcements made at Blizzcon earlier this week. It's refreshing to see some positive news about them. Maybe Fallout 76 will follow suit.
We'll just have to wait and see, but you won't have to wait any longer to hear from our game reviewer, Bianca Bortoluzzi. She's tackled Greedfall and has a lot to say, so stay tuned.
I can hardly wait, that game looks awesome. So let's kick off this week's episode. I'm Laird Davis.
And I'm Sydney Thompson, and we hope you enjoy your stay here
on Pixel Peek. Blitzcon, the esports player at the heart of the Blizzard Hong Kong outrage, has been signed by esports team Tempo Storm. The professional Hearthstone player used a live stream of the online card game to express support for the Hong Kong protesters in early October and was promptly banned from professional play by Blizzard. In response to outrage from fans, players, and even governments, Blizzard later dropped the fines and reduced the ban to 6 months. In a statement, Tempo Storm CEO Andre Yanyuk said that Blitzcon exemplifies what Tempo believes in, and we welcome him as an ambassador of our brand. Meanwhile, there were sizable protests outside of BlizzCon in response to Blizzard's stance on the Hong Kong issue. The convention, which had over 40,000 attendees last year, opened with a public apology from Blizzard President J. Allen Brack. Quote, "We moved too quickly in our decision, and then, to make matters worse, we were too slow to talk with all of you. We didn't live up to the high standards we set for ourselves. We failed in our purpose." Whether this apology, along with other announcements at BlizzCon, is enough to placate Blizzard's fans remains to be seen.
As the gaming industry looks forward to the next generation of consoles, Microsoft is bringing back its Xbox All Access plan, a monthly subscription that includes a membership to Xbox Live Gold, Game Pass, and a choice of Xbox consoles. The program was originally launched in the summer of 2018 as a way for players to buy an Xbox One console in monthly installments as low as $21.99 per month for 24 months. During this time, subscribers received an Xbox One S, an Xbox Live Gold subscription, and an Xbox Game Pass. Xbox announced that it would be reviving the Xbox All Access program, this time including an exclusive holiday incentive that would allow subscribers to upgrade from an Xbox One X to a Project Scarlet console with its releases late next year. Xbox All Access will become available in the US on November 18th from Amazon. The new All Access plan starts as low as $20 a month, but in order for subscribers to secure their next-gen console, they'll need to subscribe to the highest tier and make 12 payments on an Xbox One X in order to be eligible for the upgrade. In a blog post on Xbox Wire, Microsoft comments on adding Project Scarlet to All Access, saying, "We realize buying a console is an investment, and some players are waiting to make the jump to the next generation with Project Scarlet when it launches in holiday 2020 alongside Halo Infinity. Whether or not players find this deal enticing, there's no denying that the console wars will be in full force this holiday season."
A ruling from Australia's Competition and Consumer Commission determined that those who purchased Fallout 76 are entitled to a refund. The ACCC said that ZeniMax Media, the parent company of Bethesda, accepted that their actions were likely to have violated the Australian consumer law. Those who purchased Fallout 76 from its launch on November 24th, 2018 until June 1st, 2019 can ask for a refund. However, they'll no longer be able to play the game. The ACCC statements listed problems with servers, lagging, and graphical and visual problems as some of the many faults within Fallout 76, and the committee acknowledged that these issues were significant enough to warrant a refund for consumers. The Commission also determined that ZeniMax customer service representatives likely misinformed Australian consumers about their rights to a refund in regard to Fallout 76. The Commission said, "When a consumer has purchased a product that has a fault which amounts to a major failure, the Australian consumer law provides them with the right to ask for their choice of either a repair, replacement, or refund." Consumer rights to a refund vary by jurisdiction, and in the United States, these rights typically are available through the seller's policies. Currently, the Xbox and PlayStation stores do not offer returns for online purchases. Steam and the Epic Games stores, however, have policies where consumers can receive a refund if they request for one within 2 weeks of their purchase and less than 2 hours of gameplay.
Toby Fox, the creator of indie game classic Undertale, has composed a track for the upcoming Pokemon Sword and Shield games. Toby Fox revealed this in a tweet on Friday with a doodle of what appears to be a Yamper humming a tune. Toby Fox has a history of doing soundtracks for other projects. In the past, Toby has composed music for the popular webcomic Homestruck and also composed music for Little Town Hero, another game by Game Freak, which was released earlier this year. In the tweet, Toby Fox says that composing for Pokemon has been a huge honor. A clip of the rumored track has been making the rounds on the internet and seems to be an energetic battle tune.
Blizzcon 2019 was held over the weekend, and with it came a slew of big game announcements. Perhaps the biggest announcement to come out of Blizzcon 2019 was that of Diablo 4. Diablo 4 will have a solo and co-op campaign. It will also have player versus player combat zones. Developers' goals for the newest entry was to make a more gory and sinister experience akin to Diablo 2. Blizzard also announced the next World of Warcraft expansion, Shadowlands, which is due for release in 2020. The expansion's trailer shows Sylvanas Windrunner taking the helm of domination from Bolvar Fordragon and then ripping it apart, opening a veil between the world of Azeroth and Hell itself. The expansion will include new factions, now called Covenants, high-level raids, and a new character class, the Tinker. Shadowlands is currently available for pre-order.
Hearthstone wasn't left out of the BlizzCon party this year. Blizzard announced this weekend that Hearthstone will be getting a whole new game mode called Battlegrounds. The game mode is an auto-battler where players are tasked with building a suitable army by matching and upgrading a random selection of units. This new 8-player mode was playable at BlizzCon, but those who have pre-ordered the Descent of Dragons expansion will get an early access to the new mode starting November 5th. Everyone else will have to wait patiently until November 12th to get their hands on Battlegrounds. Lastly, Blizzard announced the hotly anticipated sequel to its first-person shooter, Overwatch. Overwatch 2 will give all the original characters a fresh redesign, as well as introduce a new playable character named Sojourn. The game will launch with at least 32 heroes, compared to the 21 heroes that launched with the original. Of course, it wouldn't be a sequel without some gameplay changes. Blizzard revealed that Overwatch 2 will come with a long-awaited story mode, as well as new hero abilities and synergies. Better still, Blizzard promised that all cosmetic unlocks that players purchase for the original game will carry over into Overwatch 2. Blizzard didn't disclose which platforms the game will launch on or even a release date window, so fans will just have to drool over that cinematic trailer for a little while longer. That's all for news. Now over to Bianca Bortoluzzi, who has made her glorious return to the review stage to share a very special game with us.
Whoa, it's been a while, but hi, I'm back with an exciting new game, Greedfall. Join me as we sail off to the new land of Tier 4D and handle all sorts of diplomatic messes and monsters.
Greedfall is a huge game, so huge that I couldn't even 100% complete it. However, I did play enough of it to know that I enjoyed it. It was developed by Spiders and produced by Focus Home Interactive. For a smaller company, the game they created is insane and very impressive. Within Greedfall, you play as Desarde, the cousin of the Prince of Serene and a diplomat for the Congress of Merchants. You can play as either a man or a woman. I chose to play as a woman. The beginning of the game takes place on a very European-style continent called Serene. and it's been taken over by both the consequences of war and disease called the Malachor. You also get to choose a type of class to be, tactician, warrior, or mage, and get to choose stats and techniques from there. I chose tactician because I'm usually a rogue class, and tactician was the closest to it. I'm not very good with warrior or mage. You also get to customize your character, which I always love. Before I had even bought Greedfall, I heard people comparing it to Dragon Age Origin and Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and I have to say, I do agree with that, but it still brings about a new story and character. I've never really played a game where you delve into the world of being a diplomat, and this one really gave me a run for my money. I'm bad at making decisions, but luckily the game offers a lot of options, from intuition and charisma, to asking your companions for help, to even being able to bribe the person you're talking to. The main goal of the game is to travel to a new land known as Tear 4D, to start New Serene for your cousin, and this is a mouthful, Prince Constantine d'Orsay. You want to try to find a cure for the disease Malachor, while also finding a new land for your people to flourish in. And from there, you learn about the natives, the Bridge Alliance, Knots, the Coin Company, and more. You can have up to 2 companions at a time as well. They also range from mages, to warriors, to Knots, to tacticians, and more. The main 3 companions I used were Kurt, Vasco, and Ciora. There's also a romance option in the game. Females can romance Kurt, Vasco, and Ciora, while males can romance Ciora, Afra, and Vasco. Always nice to see more than just straight options available. I also just really like romance options because I'm kind of a romantic myself and I think it's cute. Now, the plot for the game is interesting. It has to do with colonialism, obviously, as the people from Serene are coming over to Tier 4D and totally running up on the natives and whatnot. But depending on your choices that you make throughout the game, the plotline can completely change. You can side more with the natives or with the Bridge Alliance, or be completely rogue and go on by yourself and just ruin everything. You also have a limit to how many quests you can take on. Characters will even point out how busy you are, so that way you can actually focus on what you've already taken on and you won't get sidetracked by a whole bunch of different side quests like I did when I played Skyrim. And you also level up relatively fast, but struggle gaining skill points and the like throughout the game. You have to be tactful about it. If you know you need endurance or vigor, then spend a skill point on that, not willpower or science. I really struggled with that in the beginning of the game, but was able to fix it up and become stronger. Now, the only complaint I have for the game is the cutscene graphics and some of the weird light glitches I experienced while playing. It didn't ruin the experience for me or make the game impossible to play by any means. It was just funny and kind of disappointing at times, and a bit distracting. Like there would be such a serious scene where someone's dying or crying or just really going through it, and then all of a sudden their lips clearly do not match what they're saying, or their teeth are just showing a bit too much. One of my favorite features of the game, however, are all the different monsters and creatures you come across during the game. So many of them were so different, and they play such a huge role in the game. I mean, some of them were super easy to beat, like took maybe 5 swings of my swords, while others I had to use like 50 plus potions and traps, and my companions kept dying, and I would just have to retrace my steps and restart. But that's what I really enjoyed about the game. It's easy, it's hard, it's so much. It's wonderful. Now, other reviews I saw mentioned that the game was lacking in some ways, not being completely roleplay-like or having issues with some of the quests or the graphics and blah blah blah. But honestly, I'm just really impressed by Spiders and how they managed to make this game seem like it was made by BioWare, a company that's known for their RPG-like games. I didn't hate one aspect of this game, and I genuinely enjoyed it all. I would personally rate it as a top-of-the-mountain game and would recommend it to anyone looking for a good, new RPG-styled game that has to do with fantasy worlds and all sorts of different things. Like, if you like Skyrim, if you like Assassin's Creed, if you like Dragon Age, you're gonna enjoy this game.
Greedfall has been one of my favorite games to play all year. Although some of its graphics are a bit outdated, it still had me glued to the screen trying to complete quest after quest. And that is what makes it a top-of-the-mountain game. And now, over to Kristen for this week's analysis.
The past few weeks have been full of Pokemon Sword and Shield leaks, and with the game releasing later this month, the leaks have become more frequent. Here to talk about Pokemon and the state of Nintendo going into next year is Nintendo analyst Owen Carter. Thank you for joining me. So what was included in the last leaks involving starter evolutions?
Both the middle and final forms of all the starters were released. Scorbunny becomes Cinderace, Grookey becomes Rillaboom, and Sobble becomes Inteleon. Overall, they tended to not have good pictures for the middle evolution, but the one for Sobble's middle evolution appeared to be a shiny form, seeing as it had green coloration as opposed to yellow in some of the trim. And it seems like all of them are going to be purely one type, no secondary typing.
So what was the overall fan reaction to the leak?
Most of the reactions I saw were very negative, including my own, especially for Inteleon. Lots of the complaints were that the new forms were too humanoid and not very original, although Rillaboom has been getting the most positive reactions and has been told to stay more akin to the more traditional starter evolutions.
So how was Game Freak's Little Town Hero received?
It didn't have very good reviews overall. The game was very lackluster in terms of story, battles, and sense of adventure. The battles were very tedious, lasting anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, but lots of people who enjoy math and strategy games did to enjoy it more.
So why do you feel like it didn't do as well as people had hoped?
There wasn't very much advertising besides the last Nintendo Direct, and also many Pokemon fans were highly critical, and they were upset that it wasn't impressive enough to excuse the removal of the national decks.
So what big titles does Nintendo have in the coming future?
There haven't been many announced yet, but Sword and Shield is coming later this month, and in March next year, Animal Crossing will be coming out.
So what is Nintendo's strategy looking forward to Sony and Microsoft releasing their next generation consoles?
Nintendo refreshed the graphics card in order to increase the battery efficiency, and the release of the Switch Lite and Sword and Shield for the holidays will hopefully get their sales up. And they do have the Nintendo Direct coming up later this month, but other than that, there's no real good plan for later next year.
All right, thank you very much. That's all we have time for today. Now over to Sydney and Laird to wrap up this week's live show.
And that's another episode of Pixel Peek in the books. We hope you liked it.
I wonder what's in store for the show for the holiday season. I hope it's not you-know-what.
It'll be fine. Help us.
We'll just have to find out, and you will too, as long as you keep in touch with us. See new episodes live on Tuesday nights at 8 on WatchAppTV.com, Sky Best Channels 20 and 1020, Spectrum Channel 198, or on App State's Campus Television Channel 23.3.
And don't be shy to talk with Pixel Peek on social media. Like and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Pixel Peek AppTV. Our episodes go on YouTube right after the show as well, so spread the word.
And as always, this episode wouldn't be possible without our fantastic crew. Thanks to writers Laird Davis, Jalen Curitan, and Rebecca Larson, producers Caitlin Halley, Tanner Mazzell, and Michael Annable, and a Nintendo analyst, Owen Carter, for another week of impeccable content.
And once again, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed your stay here
on Pixel Peek.